She stood there, frozen, as the room fell silent. Her contract, her future, lay in tatters on the floor. The manager didn't say a word, just stared with cold eyes as her colleagues gaped in shock. Why would he humiliate her like that in front of everyone? What had she done to deserve this? Was it her work, her voice, her skin? This wasn't just a job. It was her shot at a new life. And in one brutal moment, he tore it apart. But what nobody knew was she'd turned that moment into his undoing. Her name was Maya, a 28-year-old single mom who'd clawed her way up from nothing. Born in a small town in Georgia, she'd grown up watching her mother work 3 jobs to keep the lights on. Maya swore she'd break that cycle, not just for herself, but for her 6-year-old daughter, Aaliyah. She'd spent years studying late into the night, earning a business degree while working retail, her hands calloused from folding clothes and her heart heavy from rejection after rejection. But when she landed a junior analyst role at a top-tier marketing firm in Chicago, it felt like the universe had finally listened. The job wasn't glamorous, long hours, endless spreadsheets, and a cubicle that felt more like a cage, but it paid better than anything she'd ever known. It was her ticket to stability, to giving Aaliyah the life she deserved. Maya poured her soul into her work, staying late to triple-check reports, offering ideas in meetings even when her voice shook. She wasn't loud or flashy, but her work spoke for itself. Clients noticed her, her team leaned on her, and after 6 months, whispers of a promotion started circling. The manager, Greg, was a different story. Mid-40s, slick suit, slicker smile. He ran the department like his personal kingdom. He had a way of making you feel small without saying much. A raised eyebrow, a dismissive nod. Maya felt it from day one. He'd linger over her desk, skimming her work with a smirk, never praising her directly. Once she overheard him tell a colleague, "She's good, but let's not get carried away." It stung, but she swallowed it. She'd dealt with worse. Then came the day of the big meeting. The firm was pitching to a major client, and Maya had spent weeks on the data analysis. Her report was airtight, numbers that could seal a multi-million-dollar deal. Greg had even given her a rare nod of approval, saying, "You're presenting this one." Her heart soared. This was her moment. She practiced her pitch until her throat was raw, picturing Aaliyah's proud smile when she'd tell her, "Mommy's moving up." The meeting room was packed. Senior execs, the client's team, and her colleagues, all eyes on her. Maya stood at the front, her heart pounding but her voice steady. She walked through the slides, her data painting a clear picture of profit and potential. The client was nodding, asking questions, leaning in. She was nailing it. Then Greg walked in late, his face unreadable. He sat at the head of the table, arms crossed. Maya kept going, her confidence building. She was almost done when he stood up, walked to her side, and asked for her contract. The one she'd signed for the promotion she was set to receive. She handed it over, confused but trusting. And then, in front of everyone, without a single word, he ripped it in half. The sound of tearing paper echoed like a gunshot. The room froze. Colleagues stared, jaws dropped. The client's team shifted uncomfortably. Maya's chest tightened, her breath caught in her throat. Her contract, her proof, her future, lay in pieces on the floor. Greg didn't look at her. He just walked out, leaving her standing there, humiliated, exposed, and betrayed. Maya's world tilted. She wanted to scream, to demand why, but her voice wouldn't come. The client's lead broke the silence, clearing his throat and saying, "Let's wrap this up." The meeting stumbled to a close, her pitch forgotten. Colleagues avoided her eyes as they filed out, some whispering, others pretending nothing had happened. She stood there, staring at the torn contract, her hands trembling. Was it her work? Had she missed something? Or was it her blackness, her quiet strength, her existence in a space where Greg didn't think she belonged? Back at her desk, Maya replayed the moment over and over. She thought of Aaliyah, waiting at home with her gap-toothed grin, asking, "Did you win, Mommy?" She thought of her mother, who'd told her, "They'll try to break you, but you don't bend." She wanted to quit, to walk away and never look back, but something in her burned hotter than the shame. She wasn't done. The next day, she marched into Greg's office, her heart pounding but her face calm. "Why?" she asked, her voice low but steady. He leaned back in his chair, that smirk playing on his lips. "You're not ready," he said. "You're good, Maya, but you don't have what it takes for leadership, not yet." His tone was patronizing, like he was doing her a favor. She pressed him, asking for specifics, but he waved her off. "It's just a feeling," he said. "You'll understand one day." She didn't understand. She'd outperformed half the team, delivered results, won clients. But Greg's words weren't about her work. They were about control. She saw it in his eyes, the way he looked through her, not at her. She'd seen that look before, on teachers who doubted her, on bosses who overlooked her. It was the look of someone who thought she didn't belong. Maya could have let it crush her. She could have gone home, cried to her mom, and started job hunting. But something snapped inside her. She wasn't just fighting for herself. She was fighting for Aaliyah, for every black woman who'd been dismissed, diminished, or discarded. She started digging. She stayed late, combing through company records, emails, anything she could access. She found patterns. Other employees, mostly people of color, who'd been passed over for promotions, their contracts lost or revised, without explanation. She found emails where Greg bragged about keeping the team in line, hinting at favoritism for his inner circle, all white, all male. Then she found it, an email chain between Greg and a senior VP discussing her promotion. The VP had pushed for Maya, citing her stellar performance. Greg's response, "She's not a fit for the culture." No explanation, just that. Maya's blood boiled. Culture? She'd given everything to this company, and now her fit was the problem. She printed the email, her hands shaking with rage and purpose. She didn't stop there. She reached out to former employees, quietly, carefully. One, a black man named Jamal, told her how Greg had lost his performance review right before a raise. Another, a Latina named Carla, said Greg had reassigned her best project to a white colleague with half her experience. The stories piled up, each one a piece of a puzzle Maya was determined to solve. She wasn't just fighting for her contract anymore. She was fighting for justice, but Greg wasn't done. He started micromanaging her, piling on impossible deadlines, critiquing her work in front of the team. Once, he called her into a meeting just to say, "You're slipping, Maya. Maybe this isn't for you." Her colleagues noticed, some offering quiet support, others distancing themselves. The office became a battleground, and Maya was in the crosshairs. She felt the weight of every stare, every whisper, but she kept going, fueled by the fire in her chest. One night, scrolling through LinkedIn, she found a connection. A former client who'd loved her work and now ran a rival firm. She reached out, not for a job, but for advice. He listened to her story, his voice kind but sharp. "Maya," he said, "you've got something here. Don't let it go." He connected her with a lawyer who specialized in workplace discrimination. The lawyer was blunt. "You've got a case, but it's not enough to win. You need proof of intent." Maya knew what she had to do.